bartering, socializing, hunting, practicing religion. They're all activities that humans take part in, but no combination of them makes any person more or less human than the rest. Someone could be a dancer who loves lilacs and Earl Grey tea, and someone else could be a government worker who plays paintball on the weekends. They could share nothing in common, except for one thing: humanity.
But when we try to define it, somehow we always fall short of answering that burning question: what makes us human? Is it our ability to problem solve, recognize patterns, or comprehend abstract concepts? Some might define our humanity through our ability to socialize, form bonds and relationships, and organize into larger groups and communities. Others may argue for our many diverse forms of creative expression to be what makes us human. There are also those who may believe that what defines us is that which is entirely undefined, a human soul, or the essence of humanity. While these are all correct answers in some way or another, perhaps the true answer is the sum of all these parts.
What human functions, mental processes, and creative thoughts can separate us, the human species, from the cutting edge of AI? Where does the threshold exist between any form of computing and true artificial intelligence? With the ever-increasing use of AI in the private sector, and the massive jump into the mainstream, the words artificial intelligence are being thrown around within and attached to a plethora of different projects. Now more than ever, artificial intelligence is within the public zeitgeist. Whether it's being discussed with your friends and coworkers, used in an AI clickbait article, or changing your career, it's on the public radar.
The Outpost is a conceptual studio focused on reporting current events and social phenomena through critical thinking, artistic vision, and empathy. We chose to explore the public's familiarity and knowledge of, and personal opinions on, AI, along with providing our own analysis and thoughts on the topic. In this multi-part series, join us as we inject a human perspective into that which is not.
Have some concerns, let's just say.
Then I can also imagine a counterpoint to that where we develop an AI that can solve climate change.
I think my general thoughts on AI is that it conceptually had great ideas in the beginning.
What are your general thoughts on AI?
I feel like AI can definitely be very beneficial if used the right way. I think that it can take over a lot of things that people don't really want to have time for or don't really want to do anymore, so that they can free their time up to actually focus on creative spaces and things like that.
I think AI is here to stay. Computing power has finally reached a point where it's ubiquitous. It's no longer some niche tool. I would love to believe it's only going to be a tool and enhance our lives, but I think it's at an inflection point where it could displace a lot of people's lives and work. I think in the past, technology innovation has improved people's lives, it's displaced some people. It tends to do that to people who have done manual work, but for the first time, it's going to displace people whose jobs involve pattern recognition and thinking. And that's a lot of people, and myself included. So,
as a writing teacher, I'm conflicted. I guess I am wary of how it could eliminate many of the important thinking processes that are involved in the development of student writing. And yet, I also see how it has the potential to eliminate some of the tedious and unnecessary aspects of the work of organizing, critiquing, giving feedback on writing. So I don't know. I think it all depends on how it's used.
How do you see AI impacting your career field?
I can definitely see how that would happen, but I don't think it has the capacity to completely replace people.
Okay.
Because I've used it like a little bit. A lot of what I've ended up getting out of it, I've mostly used it for stupid things like D&D, like NPCs and stuff, but a lot of what I've been getting out of it is that it'll give you a good basis, but the second you try to get intricate with it, you kind of lose it.
Gotcha.
We've already seen it in the IT industry already, though. A lot of level 1 people were already being pushed away. Computer-generated questioning and chatbots taking those places already. Could they train a robot or a chat person to do it? No, I wouldn't think so. There's too many critical, in-the-moment thinking processes that happen that human intervention is required.
Okay.
So
you feel secure in
right, but we're talking about here and then there. I've been in it 24 years in the industry now, so a little harder to replace than a level 1, year 1 person.
I think it's great because I use it at work to respond to certain, like if I'm dealing with somebody with a high conflict personality, I can use ChatGPT to try and come up with a professional response to someone who is looking for a fight, and it helps diffuse that situation when I myself don't necessarily have the social tools for it. I can use that to create something.
I do, and I can see it displacing those types of jobs outright altogether. Just in terms of it being cheaper and not having to provide labor and that sort of thing. So I feel like as AI scales, it'll displace a lot of those industries, particularly in like fast food and stuff like that.
How do you see AI impacting white-collar jobs?
Probably, yeah. It's probably going to impact many areas of our lifetime in work and play. There's already a guy up here at the show that does something with his phone where he does little art things and prints them off and makes pretty good money off of it. I'm like, more power to him.
My biggest issue with AI is it taking over jobs and leaving people not able to provide for their families. If it can assist in your workforce and what you're doing, that's great. Make it easier for you.
Yeah, so I use Microsoft's Copilot, which is an AI-driven IDE tool for when I'm like writing code. I also use ChatGPT and Find, mostly for code stuff, but also just for like if I'm like reading an article or something and it's like kind of long, I'll like copy and paste the article into it and then ask for like a summary.
Well, a doctor spends all day gathering data from what patients say and looking at reports and scans and then recognizing patterns of disease and then prescribing a diagnosis and a treatment. If a computer can be fed all that, it's obviously going to be able to do it just as fast as a doctor and maybe better. And that's fine as long as I think there's some humanity behind it. And, I don't think any human is going to go up to a kiosk, talk to it, get a diagnosis, and then completely trust it.
Well, I work with the visitor center alongside the city of Norfolk. I don't think anything AI would be able to necessarily take over what I do, but as far as the office things in the back, I can see it taking over, making papers, making marketing things for us, figuring out schematics with our budgeting, funding and stuff, and that would give us more time to actually be able to go out around and promote more, talk to people, because AI will never be able to replace face-on-face human interaction.
How do you see AI impacting the future?
I mean, in my darkest moments, I'm kind of having like visions of the singularity and in not good ways. And I have read experts in the field sort of issuing their warnings about a worst case scenario. So it's hard for me to conceptualize how much things are going to change, but I think they will change significantly. And I think it's very possible for things to mostly change for the negative in terms of how we as human beings exist interpersonally and individually in our experience of the world.
But if it could be used to just assist people and make things more efficient, I think that could be beneficial. Definitely enjoyed the ChatGPT. It's all very interesting.
The replication of people's voices to the exact tone is scary. people's likeness being reused is too scary. There's not enough people who are really going to be thoughtful about sharing information, misinformation, disinformation, all of it.
That question depends on the context. I think political will is sort of like not really there to address it. We had one candidate like Andrew Yang that got like 2% of the vote for the Democratic Party, and he was the only person that was taking AI seriously. But to society's benefit, AI, like ChatGPT, I think kind of transformed the way we're looking at this, whereas it sounded like he had blasted to us from a science fiction movie to most people who weren't following that space. So I really think it depends on like where the political will turns, but America specifically is a big ship that turns at about 1 degree every decade, so it's hard to say if we'll be able to keep up with the rapid advancements. Some form of basic income guarantee, definitely in favor of. Whether or not it's UBI, I'll let the economists hash it out.
I mean, there's positive aspects, there's negative aspects. Quite frankly, it's something that we have to embrace, though, as the younger generation, because it's not going away. And, the better we can move forward and embrace it, the better off society will be. But I can't really say definitively positive or negative, so I'll just have to say neutral.
Okay. I don't think it's inherently I think it is going great for the most part. Again, much like anything else, it can be used poorly, it can be used well. It's just like the internet. Like, you can go to a website that takes all of your personal information, steals all the money out of your bank accounts, and then frames you for murder. I don't know. Like you can go to a website, get scammed, and have everything go wrong, or you can go to a website and crowdfund something that you believe in. You can go to a website and read articles and learn more and expand your mind. So it's really just a tool, much like the internet. I think that it could have an awful impact on humanity if used horribly wrong. I think it could be super beneficial if used well. I think it just, it's more on the user than the tech.
You could put anything in there and it creates any artwork or anything, and someone could be like, I painted that, and they didn't. And it'll mess with people's imagination, I think, because if you're not thinking of anything yourself, then you're just not going to be able to. So.
Okay.
I would think it'd be more positive than anything. Of course, you're going to get some backlash, people concerned about how it's going to affect their lives or their routines. And those people might just not be exposed to the right aspect of it. Don't really know about on that one, but I think it seems like most people are interested in it, want to see it continue and want to see it growing. It's technology. Technology is going to continue. Technology is going to improve upon itself.
Cat's out of the bag now. It's too late to put it back in. So because our society is purely capitalistic and profit is what drives everything we do, there's no way that it can be put back in the bag, because unless we become a completely socialist society, and in America that's just not going to happen. Capitalism is going to win the day, and this is a tool that makes everybody 5x, 10x, 20x faster. So as long as there's a profit-driven motive, people are going to find a way around regulations, and it's going to keep occurring. So we just have to tightly regulate it, tightly regulate data sets. Even that's only going to go so far, and buckle up.
So far, the Outpost has collected 12 on-the-street interviews with a wide variety of folks. We also met some people who weren't comfortable being on camera, but were willing to fill out a short survey. In addition to the interviews in this video, we compiled data from surveys filled out by 32 participants off camera. The surveys were simple: a quick screening tool measuring public awareness and use of artificial intelligence.
Of our 32 participants, 22 reported specific age, with an average of 31 and a half years old. The age range for all participants spanned from 18 to 59, with just under 69% falling in the 18 to 34 age bracket. Only 3% fell in the 55 to 64 age bracket. Everyone else was between the ages of 35 and 54.
Out of the total sample, just under 60% were men, nearly 38% were women, and 3.1% were unreported. All respondents reported being familiar with AI. Roughly 70% used AI for work, fun, or both. Of that 70%, 50% used it for work, and 81.8% used it for fun.
A little over 9% reported using Snapchat's My AI, while a separate 9% reported using TikTok's AI filters. A little over 6% reported using ChatGPT-3. The overall outlook for AI was measured on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very concerned, 5 being neutral, and 10 being very hopeful. The mean outlook was 4.96, placing the average opinion firmly in the neutral range.
The modern world exists in a state of uncertainty. The Outpost looks to gain perspective on the topics and areas of human interest that have, will, and are affecting those who call this pale blue dot their home.
We hope you enjoyed the first of a multi-part series on artificial intelligence, exploring the public sentiment on the topic. We want to thank everyone who participated in the interviews and survey. We also share our gratitude to those who helped and supported us along the way. If you'd like to stay updated on our journey, be sure to like and subscribe. You can also follow us on our social media, which will be linked below. And thank you for watching. And then, whoa, is that Hanny's coming home? Oh no, Hanny's home.
I'm going to my room. Continue.